Starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar provides a detailed real-world look at how organizations are taking advantage of the pre-built capabilities in EPBCS to streamline processes and produce insightful information. It is hosted by Tom Gargas, Director of Solutions Consulting at Edgewater Ransell. Tom?
Thanks, Joey. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Thursday. My name is Tom Gargas. I'm a member of the Edgewater Ransell team for a number of years as a consultant, as an architect, and also in the spirit of customer success. I've also been an ex-client 3 times over in the publishing, financial services, and in the apparel industry. So, longtime fan of Hyperion, all things Hyperion, since the days way back in the late 90s all the way to now, where Hyperion's really powered by the Oracle Cloud. I'm going to give you a brief tour of EPBCS and where it sits in the Oracle EPM landscape, describe what EPBCS is at a fundamental level, and by being fairly straightforward and focused, give you a nice tour of the live application, taking you to some key and very popular modules around EPBCS, so you can get a flavor of how it works, what's different than EPBCS's predecessor, namely Hyperion Planning, and then we'll just quickly summarize our presentation. So that being said, for those that are wondering, this is the current Oracle EPM landscape provided by Oracle. It's more marketing oriented, but it's actually fairly easy to understand, less technical. But as you can see here, it's a fully integrated stack of tools and applications that easily fit together from the data side or integration side, all the way up to reporting and how users across numerous departments and processes use these applications. Pretty much in the middle of this architecture slide is where, for those that are interested in the products, is where the application sits. As you can see on the right, modules such as consolidation and close, tax provisioning, account reconciliation, they're logically fit to support integrated consolidations, as well as narrative reporting, as you can see just above it. It's all about the close process. And towards the middle, it's all about profitability, allocations, and cost management, which could fit as a sort of an extension to the close as well. And then our focus today is towards the left side of our architecture slide about enterprise planning, budgeting, and its respective reporting. And planning and budgeting, predominantly is represented by corporate finance and supported by the divisional finance and even operational members of organizations. But they clearly have smaller segments such as integrated financials, workforce planning, and capital planning, and project planning, and strategic modeling that are all need to be interconnected in an intuitive way, as opposed to using the more classic and disparate Excel based and email based mechanisms. So that being said, we're really focusing on enterprise planning and budgeting today, specifically with the product known as EPBCS. And as many of you have already know, Oracle's really big on acronyms. The acronyms just get longer and longer each year. EPBCS stands for Enterprise Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service. So simply stated, if you can see in the very last bullet on the screen, it is Hyperion Planning. It's a mature product. It is been around since around the 2000-2001 time frame. But what's different, what makes this different than regular Hyperion Planning, that is, it also runs on the Oracle Cloud. So as many of you know, cloud's a big buzzword and actually a big reality, specifically around the EPM products and definitely a strategic direction, for all things Oracle. So it is Hyperion Planning. It runs on the Oracle Cloud. It is leading edge, extremely refined. Almost on a monthly basis, we see small little updates and enhancements. And it also provides prepackaged content to help organizations, regardless of industry, rapidly turn around a methodology to build employee-based or position-based compensation plans, or perhaps organizations to build up their capital projects in a very detailed driver-based mechanisms. Without having to build it from scratch, you can use wizards and themes and pre-packaged capabilities to turn these features on with very low effort and a very quick turnaround. So it's as it is a product that runs on the Oracle Cloud, it's subscription-based, a SaaS model, where the infrastructure is completely eliminated as a factor in your organization. All you really need from an infrastructure is basically a laptop or a tablet in order for you to conduct your business. Other than that, all the servers are being taken care of by Oracle. That's why it's a subscription-based model, and it's pre-built with a lot of really great content. And I'll take a deeper dive in just a little bit in order for you to turn around key capabilities a lot faster or in a phased approach. You can utilize the more classic manual data entry to build up your plan, or take advantage of the embedded driver-based and predictive-based and trend-based capabilities in the tool. Like its predecessor, Hyperion Planning, there's powerful workflow and user management capability, and there's actually some newer enhancements here, utilizing a card-based approach to navigate through the system quite easily on the web. And if the web is not exactly your forte, you can still take advantage of Microsoft Office integration, specifically SmartView for Excel, to basically work within a spreadsheet and still utilize the same EPBCS artifacts in order to build up your plan and report on your plan. The theme is very mobile enabled. So when we go into the live demonstration, you'll see a radically different look and feel, but as you interact with the system, it's still the same Hyperion Planning functionality that everyone's accustomed to, which actually can turn around to be a shorter learning curve than expected. Robust data integration capabilities, and you'll see throughout the demonstration powerful reporting and analysis, whether it's on the web or in Excel. Specifically focusing our attention on the prepackaged content, EPBCS provides a number of 5 areas for organizations to turn on based on their requirements and their timelines. So financials is actually 2 components, integrated financials for either driver-based or amount-based income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow, as well as financials supported by strategic modeling. Strategic modeling being the more long-range, top-down planning, what-if scenarios. Because the 2 are connected, you can actually start up your long-range plan in the strategic modeling area and then push it down to impact your financial plan in the normal financial planning area with respect to balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow. A subject that's near and dear in many organizations' hearts is workforce, the ability to build up your headcount and compensation plan at the employee level or at the position level, or both, depending on really what the process is, and utilize it in an integrated way, like in many ways like a subledger, being able to build up your compensation plan at a detailed driver-based, assumption-based manner, calculate your total compensation, and then feed that back into your key line items in your financial plan. And the methodology is pretty much the same in terms of capital and projects. Computing for capital, computing your depreciation and amortization on any new assets, or perhaps even at a more summary level at the asset class level. And then in turn, taking the outputs for those new assets, even for existing assets, if you wanted to manage them in the system as well, at a summary level detail, and then pushing them back into financials. And then last but not least, what I would say is the most comprehensive area in EPBCS is projects, where you can actually support 3 primary project types: contract projects, which are those that generate revenue; capital projects, where expenses can be both capitalized and pure expensed; and then lastly, indirect projects, which are pure expense projects. You can utilize sort of a direct manual-based approach or a driver-based approach to build up your projects in many ways like a project plan at a somewhat of a summary level, and again, compute those results and have a live financial view of your project plan that can be fully integrated into core financials model. So by subscribing to EPBCS, that doesn't you get all these capabilities and a whole lot more, and it's your choice to decide which function is important to my organization, and in turn you can turn certain key areas on, again, based on the requirements and the timeline, based on your sort of absorption level, if you will. So for those that are wondering, can I build custom capabilities, sort of a la carte planning, even though I am subscribing to EPBCS? Absolutely. So you're not forced to adopt this box. You can sort of extend the box, as they say, with whether it's for financials, capital, workforce, or projects, or build a module entirely of your own. So it is actually quite comprehensive. I would think that this is probably the most comprehensive planning solution to date. Definitely much more than way back in the early days of Hyperion planning. Moving further in terms of key capabilities in the system, again, in the spirit of best practices in the box, regardless of the subject, regardless of the module, all key methodologies and processes around budgeting and planning are supported. So first and foremost, zero-based budgeting is definitely supported if you want to start from scratch and build up your plan starting from zero, quite literally. Or you can do the more incremental approach where you're taking advantage of history, seeding your current plan, using history, applying your adjustments, and then moving forward. Either way, you can utilize a driver-based approach to build up your zero-based or build up your incremental, utilizing your drivers, your operational metrics as levers. So it's volumes, rates, percentages. Those are sort of the three popular drivers. Again, on the opposite extreme, there's also manual entry, where you just key in the dollars. It's quite simple, quite effective, and actually may be useful in certain areas. But manual entry does not provide you the visibility into the operation as opposed to driver-based. Either way, you can build up your plans, taking advantage of trends, all your historical data, and making adjustments to those trends to get a more accurate, more effective, and quick insight into what your future plans and forecasts are going to be. Or you can utilize the embedded predictive capabilities in the system and let the product do all the hard work for you using the advanced algorithms in the system. Like I said earlier, this slide really speaks to the enablement of any one of the key themes and all the functions within those themes, such as workforce, capital planning, project planning, or financials. A power user in finance, not necessarily a technical person, can go in and turn on certain areas of a particular module and enable them. Time permitting, I'll be able to show that to you today. In order for you not only to enable the module, but to administrate over the module over time. And like I said earlier, EPBCS has powerful reporting and analysis capabilities. Whether you still want to work with this spreadsheet that you can see on the lower left and build spreadsheet-based reports on the upper right, you can also have intuitive live dashboards in the system as opposed to exporting them out into a third party, and then formalized production level reports live in the system as well. And any view that you have, whether it's a dashboard or a formalized report, it can always be exported into Excel, HTML, PDF, XML, etc. So for the next 20 to 25 minutes or so, let me give you a quick tour of EPBCS. So this is sort of the new workspace or the new launch pad and for those that are familiar with Hyperion planning. It utilizes, first of all, a very mobile-oriented theme. Additionally, all Oracle Cloud products have the same theme. So the more and more Oracle you adopt in your organization, the more consistent look and feel that you'll have, and it'll accelerate the learning process. In terms of overall navigation, What I actually like, and a lot of customers provided positive feedback, is this card-based approach. So as you can extend one of these cards, such as financials, you can see sort of sub-themes or sub-cards, giving an end user an easier means of navigating to a specific area of interest, such as expense planning, revenue planning, balance sheet. Let me expand capital in form of focusing on existing and new assets, intangible assets, and then the ever popular workforce, where we're doing compensation planning, other compensation related expenses, demographic analysis, or strategic workforce. For those that are wondering, can these cards and this new means of navigation be altered? Absolutely. This entire look and feel, this entire theme, and any card within it can be customized entirely the way you would want to see it in order for you to make your planning process very effective. I'm going to focus on some basic examples to showcase EPBCS. Pretty much out of the box, once you enable the system, you have these dashboards that will show you your key performance indicators. And again, I'm focusing in on expenses. You can navigate through any one of these dashboards to give you sort of the state of where my expenses are today. So I can click on rolling forecast, and I can also interact with my dashboards. I can drill down on a key line item. I could focus in and filter on perhaps marketing expenses and drill down on travel and related expenses. This is also filter based. As you can see, my point of view is really focused in on all my key performance indicators and my charts on the sales US department. At any moment in time, I could look at another department that I'm responsible for, and all dashboards will be filtered against that new department that I choose. So you have live reporting in the system to get a state of where you are in order to give you insight on how you build up your plan. Like I said earlier, you have the capability of taking advantage of the driver-based or direct-based approach. You can also customize these depending on your needs. So in this example, I'm building up my operating expense plan utilizing a driver-based approach. As you can see here, I'm in my total sales department, and I have all the key drivers that will allow me to build up all my key expense categories, such as trips, nights per trip. These are basically travel-related drivers. And as I scroll down, and we start getting to more marketing-related drivers, such as number of events, cost per event, number of campaigns. What are some of the other ones? Here's headcount, which is definitely a popular one, square footage, utilities percentage. Now, what's nice is we can align these drivers to the ones that are important to you and take advantage of the seeding mechanism in order to seed the driver in a manner that you think is most appropriate. Current year actual average, prior year actual average, forecast average, and this can also be modified. So the idea is, in this driver-based approach, let's seed our drivers using one of these out-of-the-box methodologies, and then in turn adjust our driver utilizing a percentage-based approach or an amount-based approach in order to finally compute what our drivers are going to be for our driver-based plan. So the key is load, adjust, compute your drivers, and then let the system build out automatically what your key expense line items are going to be. So all those drivers, once adjusted and seeded, calculated for me all my total travel and entertainment expenses, my marketing expenses, and the list goes on. That's why this column is grayed out, but I still have the mechanism to make an adjustment. So here we see that my hotel expenses were a little over $13,000. I lowered it by $2,000, then it gives me $11,500 total. So I do have visibility in the adjustment process, but I'm utilizing the drivers embedded in the system in order for me to control my behavior, if you will, as the owner of the sales US operating plan. And in turn, that behavior will give me the expected financial output that not only I'm comfortable with, but the corporation's going to be comfortable with. For those that want to utilize a simpler approach or an alternate approach, there's always the good old-fashioned direct method. Definitely easy and at times useful and popular. We can just simply type in our information here. I'll just type in $20,000 at year total. My data spreads automatically. I can change my data at will at any level of granularity and save it in the system. So, sometimes the direct approach is actually quite easy, and this can actually be quite useful and for certain line items that do not require a driver-based approach. So it covers both extremes. We quickly can enter in direct data, utilize percentages, utilize drivers to get data into the system to finally compute for us an income statement that we're comfortable with. Revenue follows the same approach. We have a number of revenue-related drivers to help compute product revenue by region, by channel, etc., in order for us to build out our entire, working draft of our income statement, again, for our sales department. Because the solution is fully integrated, we can also get a live view of our balance sheet. We can make adjustments to key drivers in our balance sheet in order for us to consume, or the more direct approach, in order for us to view what our balance sheet plan is going to be in the system. And the same holds true for cash flow as well. So even though we've enabled the financials component, which is fully integrated in this demo model, we can have a choice of starting only with expenses, and then perhaps phase 2 do revenue, and perhaps phase 3 do integrated cash flow and budget, or you can do all these capabilities in one shot and then tackle on another module as you see fit. So there's nothing that forces you to adopt all these capabilities once you subscribe to EPBCS. It really is up to you in order to logically phase in what you want to enable in the system. Other areas of interest are another popular area is workforce. And workforce, again, we start off with a dashboard-based approach, so we can get a state of where our compensation plan is today. And workforce can also be done by project. Workforce is typically supported by new hires and existing hires. So as we can see here in my sales department, I have a number of hiring requisitions that have already been made for my next year's operating plan. And we can see, based on the assumptions built into the system, we can see that those assumptions being the position and the grade level of that position, we can see total compensation and the related compensation metrics being computed in the system. How that's done is just simply utilizing the wizards in the tool. So here's a new to be hire. We can choose one of the positions built into the system, and we can modify those exactly the way you want to see them. We just fill in the employee type, the number of requisitions, the number of FTEs, the time frame in which this new employee is going to be active, and any additional comments, and then the requisition will appear on the screen. And in turn, their compensation will be computed. Existing employees can also be managed in the system. So we can see in our sales department, we have about 4 employees. And this could be coming directly from the HR system. We can transfer employees in and out, plan their departure, change the job, change the employee status, or actually go down to a more detailed approach. Let me focus in on Rob Stark. Just move my wizard here. There we are. And we can see all the properties for Rob Stark in this position being reflected in the system, and we can make these changes at will. Given that this module is assumption-based and driver-based, we can see those assumptions centrally in the system. So we can see the salary grades by grade, starting up at a company level, and then we can map these grades by department in order to determine what grade level each departmental position is focused for. And then we can add additional assumptions here in terms of additional earnings, benefits, taxes. So it's the same methodology that we're building into the capital and in project in the form of investments. We can do new asset planning for the machinery. Let me change it to the operations department. Oh, that's in manufacturing, excuse me. So again, a new piece of machinery was added in the system. This did not come from the fixed asset system. There's our basic cost. And these assumptions based on, will build up based on the asset class. The asset class is associated with their useful life, the depreciation method, and in turn, that new asset will automatically have their respective depreciation and amortization built into the system in a fully integrated way. For those that that live and breathe in Excel, I just wanted to take about a minute to show you this is fully integrated with Excel. For those that are using SmartView, SmartView is the same SmartView. There's no EPBCS version of SmartView. All we need to do is link to the Oracle Cloud, to the specific application we have security rights to, and we can just expand our folders and or our task lists to navigate through the system. So let me open up financials. Let me go to expense, and let me go to my enter expense form. And there's a same web form that we're used to. And I can choose my sales department again. Filter against that, refresh my data, and we can see the same plan that's been built out on the web. We can also analyze to this web form in order to do more ad hoc reporting or budgeting and forecasting. So you have the complete flexibility of utilizing all the web-based interfaces, as well as the spreadsheet-based capabilities to not only build up your plan, but to also report on your information as well. So let me go back to the PowerPoint. Now that I gave you a quick tour of EPBCS, and to summarize, it is essentially best practices in a box with pre-built business processes that are pre-configured, but at the same time extensible and highly intuitive for a business person, not necessarily an IT person, to be able to administer and extend even further, utilizing the same normal Hyperion planning capabilities that one is accustomed to, but a lot of the new wizard-based approaches to add in new features per module in order to logically extend the solution. It's extremely simple to use, whether you want to use the new mobile-oriented theme and the card-based approach to navigate through the system, or perhaps you still want to utilize the same spreadsheet using SmartView that you're accustomed to. All these modules are pre-integrated, scalable, and it offers still the capability to do predictive analytics, what-if capabilities, and an extremely fast time to add value. So in closing comments, for those that are interested in adopting EPBCS or looking at the product in a more detailed manner, feel free to contact us at the numbers you see on the screen or email at us at info@ranzel.com. One of my closing comments or closing thoughts that I'd like to make is, if you're looking to possibly utilize EPBCS and one of the prepackaged module, also keep in mind that you're adopting a predefined methodology, so it's important to do a fit cap to analyze, if this packaged methodology aligns with the requirements, and if you're willing to take that step. But also, that doesn't mean you have to wholeheartedly adopt the entire methodology. We can always extend it and refine it to make it exactly right for your needs. EPBCS also has the capability of being customized with net new artifacts and net new processes in the system. So essentially, you get the best of both worlds. Prepackaged content that is also customizable, as well as building something a la carte, all tailor-made within the entire and very comprehensive solution. So with that, this webinar is basically coming to a close. Like I said, feel free to email us with any questions, and we'll be very happy to address any of your any questions or comments that you may have. Thank you.